That was Texas Senate hopeful Ted Cruz. He may be the guy tonight. He was speaking at FreePAC last Thursday night at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. And the Senate runoff election is tonight. The latest poll shows him beating Republican opponent David Dewhurst 52% to 42%. If he wins, this may be the biggest of all Tea Party victories for the conservative movement. Here to discuss is Adam Brandon. He's the Executive Vice President of FreedomWorks. Adam, first of all, what have you heard so far today on turnout for Cruz?
Well, I'm so excited it's hard for me to even stay in my seat, so I'm going to do my best. But everything that I'm hearing, we are out of materials, we are out of yard signs. We're hearing things about coming back from early voting, showing an overwhelming lead for Ted Cruz. Now, I don't want to count my chickens before I'm hatched, but I wouldn't want to be in any other position than we are right now. This could be a major, major upset for our movement.
So everybody told me, I mean, we've talked several times. By the way, thank you for last week. That was one of the most incredible political events I've ever seen. I mean, it was incredible, just incredible. Mm-hmm. Everybody I've talked to who is an elite in Washington or even an elite here in Texas, they have all said to me, oh, Cruz isn't going to win. Dewhurst, it's all Dewhurst. It's all going to... And when this happens tonight, if this happens tonight, where it's a major upset and Dewhurst loses, what message is this going to send to not only Texas, but also the rest of the political framework and machinery?
Well, I just first want to say, no matter what happens, I'm proud and thrilled to death with all the work that the grassroots activists have put in. But fortunately, it looks like tonight we are going to win. And the message that it's sending is, in these David versus Goliath fights, most of the insider establishment, the media, they don't know what's going on. They're using old school calculus that you have to raise money, and if you raise the most money, you win. Well, that's over. It's going to end tonight in Texas.
He's outspent 3-1, right?
Maybe
Dewhurst,
4-1. We're looking at potentially 20, 25 million that Dewhurst has poured into this race, and it's going nowhere.
So what is happening? What is it you're supposed to learn from that?
What Americans want, an authentic candidate. Dewhurst is looking like politics as usual. In Ted Cruz, you've got a 10th Amendment scholar who wants to come to Washington, and his motivation to come to Washington is to fight for the Constitution, not to make a political career.
I will tell you this. You know, when you say people they're not looking for a politician, there is something about Ted, and I like Ted, but he moves a little like a politician. I don't believe he is the standard politician, but he kind of, you know, none of them are good speakers because they're regular schmoes. You know, if you're a really good speaker, you'd be doing what I'm doing. Right. So they're not good speakers, and so he kind of moves with his hands like, you know, Bill Clinton used to move with his hands. But that's not what you're talking about on a politician. You're talking about somebody who is, who really actually genuinely believes it.
When he speaks with the crowd, people understand. I'm looking at a person who gets it, that Washington is Washington and the states are the states. And that's not, you need to have a certain separation, that if it can be done by the states, it should be done by the states. And you want to take power as close to the people as possible. That's what Ted Cruz talks about, and he gets people excited. He's been talking about these things. I mean, it's amazing when I read his stories, and he's been talking about Hayek and Mises and Austrian economists since he was in high school. I mean, this is a person who lives and breathes our philosophy.
Yeah, he was pretty much friendless in high school, I would imagine. Okay, so let's play a little game. What do you think the media is going to say tonight? Because if I were sitting there, I would bet that they're going to say, oh, this is Texas, this is all these Tea Partiers, and they're all extremists, and this is no relevance at all to what's going to happen in November.
Well, if Ted Cruz wins, I don't think the media, they just don't have the capacity to understand what happened there, because they're just still looking at who spent the most money. This is going to blow a lot of their narratives up. I mean, there's no way to ignore this. I mean, we've had victories in Indiana. Now in Texas, Texas is the size of France. It's its own country. That shows this movement is as powerful as a tidal wave. So it's getting pretty hard to ignore heading into the November elections.
But wouldn't they say that, I mean, Texas is the size of France, but the one thing it's not is France.
Right.
And so they'll just dismiss. It's easy to dismiss Texas. If you're somebody who lives on Central Park South, it's easy just to say, oh, well, those people, they don't even have roads down there.
Well, but the day everybody knows Texas has, I mean, everybody has a political establishment. So the one thing you can't ignore, Dewhurst was the chosen guy. He was chosen by everyone in Austin. He had the money. He had everything he needed. Right. He has all the endorsements. But the one thing he wasn't chosen by was the actual people of Texas.
That's the thing that I think will speak volumes, I hope, to the Republicans. The media will dismiss it. The media will say, oh, well, it's just Texas. But I hope the Republicans will hear a message. And the message that they should hear is... what, Adam?
Well, the first thing I would say is that you look at what happened with Orrin Hatch. Orrin Hatch, because of his challenge, has become a very conservative voter. You look at what's happened in Indiana with Richard Murdoch taking out Dick Lugar. Now in Texas, the message is this movement, if you're looking for some guy standing on the corner with a tri-cornered hat waving a flag,
right,
that's over.
Yeah.
This thing has evolved into a political movement.
Okay, do you...
Not because this is the political season, this is the time to affect politics, and we will be there the day after the election to make sure that we can start pushing the legislation.
Do you believe that Mitt Romney, this will affect, that Mitt Romney's people are watching Texas?
Well, the problem is I worry that Mitt Romney's surrounding himself with a bunch of political hacks that are looking at it saying, geez, but he spent the most money. And so if Mitt Romney's campaign is based on we're going to outraise the president, it's not that. Americans are looking for the authentic person who's going to come to Washington and live up to constitutional principles. I'm hoping Mitt Romney sees that.
I will tell you that when I was backstage at Free Pack, which everyone should watch if you haven't seen it yet.
It was electric.
It really was. I haven't felt anything like that. For a political thing, that wasn't even... I mean, CPAC, when I went a few years ago, it was kind of exciting, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it has so much history and everything else. This was on fire. This was
because it wasn't about politics. It was about policy and the people who want to change things based on a policy motive, not a political motive.
Now, I was sitting backstage, and these guys kept coming in. As they would speak, they would come into the green room, because I was there about an hour and a half early. And I wanted to watch things and see it and feel it in the building. And so I talked to almost all of the politicians that, you know, spoke. And I asked them all separately the same question. Do you trust Mitt Romney? And all of them said yes, almost immediately. Yes, they trust him. They think he's a man of good character and values. Is he going to need a little push to be able to actually do the things that the American people are looking for him to do? They all said yes. But they, surprisingly to me, seemed behind Mitt Romney. Even Rand Paul really seemed to be behind Mitt Romney. And it wasn't the hold your nose kind of I'm for him as much as I expected. Do you find that?
Well, I guess we're all, we're in that season right now where we really, we want to change, and it's going to be pretty hard to get the long-term changes we need unless we've got someone in the White House who just isn't going to reject everything we do with a knee-jerk. Hopefully, Romney becomes that person, but no matter who's in the White House, the policy initiative in the next Congress is going to come out of the Senate. And that's why I come back to people like Josh Mandel in Ohio. It comes back to guys like Ted Cruz. I got just give a shout out to one other person. Senator Mike Lee came to our office today to call people on behalf of Ted Cruz.
Lee's a great guy.
Unbelievable. But what that shows to me is like Lee believes he needs help that much. He needs this larger group of folks to help him out, that every call matters. And so if Mitt Romney is the president, but you've got guys like Lee writing bills and Ted Cruz helping to move things, then you can make sure that Mitt Romney becomes your guy.
Mike Lee will be eaten by Orrin Hatch if he's alone. You still think we take the Senate as GOP and Tea Party people?
Well, I'm looking at the candidates out there, and they're actually exciting people. And you see places like Ohio, where there is the old establishment GOP and the Tea Party wing. Everyone's getting behind Josh Mandel, and that's a good thing to see when we can agree on a candidate. In other places like Texas, where you have to step up and push to make sure our guy gets in there. But then even like people like Mack in Florida, who's running for Senate, this guy's a guy who's got a long track record that we're excited about. There's a lot of very exciting candidates.
What do you know about Dan Bongino in Maryland?
What I know is he's one of those guys that I've got a lot of my staff who volunteer on their own time on the weekends to go help him out, because when you meet the guy, he should be up there. The problem is it's a resource question. Can he get the right resources? And as a movement, we have to pick our battles. I hope that if we can keep changing the tone, if we can keep pushing things, a guy like that comes into play.
Yeah.
Because he should be. I would love to have that guy in the Senate.
Oh, are you kidding me? He's one of the more honorable. I mean, he was on presidential detail with Secret Service, one of the more honorable men I've ever known, and woke up. He's just like a regular Tea Party guy. He woke up and he was like, I'm just kind of going along, thinking it's always going to be this way, and I realized, holy cow, it's not.
He's authentic, and
yeah,
I think one thing we can say about this movement is, one thing to say about Americans is, for the most part, I trust my neighbors. They're great people. They'll help me pull my car out of a ditch. And so you look at a lot of these guys, like these are candidates who pass that authenticity test.
You were in town for the last three days, for the Restoring Love event. What was the thing that you were most pleased to see and most surprised to see? Anything stick out at you?
Well, I have to say, when I went to your event, I am still emotional when I think about that log that was under the surgeon's table at Valley Forge. Amazing. That really just kind of crystallized to me why we're all fighting the fight, because this is a tradition. We didn't build the America that's out there today. We just inherited what came before us, and we need to keep out there fighting. And I think about that log, and I think about what we did at Free Pack when I talk about these candidates. So yes, we got to get out there and fight. But man, I was so moved by the whole weekend, the politics, just kind of rediscovering what it means to be an American in some ways.
It was really neat, and we will we'll see you up north in September.
Oh, we're getting excited.
Good.
We're absolutely getting excited. I mean, Good. Ohio, to me, I'm from Ohio. And when I look at our forefathers that basically cut Ohio out of the wilderness, built the Industrial Revolution, and now the state's fallen behind, we need to put some energy back into that state.
Well, we will, and we'll see you up there in September. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you hopefully soon. Hopefully it will be with real good news after tonight's election here in Texas. Adam, thanks a lot.
And if you're in Texas, don't forget to vote tonight. Please don't forget to vote. And thanks very much, Glenn.
God bless. Back in a minute.